Welcome to the Rustic Garden. Today I want to show you how to prune indeterminate tomatoes that are growing in containers. Your indeterminate tomato is going to grow quite large. This black plum grows 6 to 8 feet when it's in the earth bed. It's going to be a little bit smaller in this container, but what I want to do is I want to prune this tomato while it's growing so that I'm basically keeping one main growth stem. So I'm going to remove the suckers. Suckers on tomatoes turn into new growth stems. So you can have, your initial tomato seedling has one stem. As it grows leaves. In the joint between that main stem and the leaf are the suckers, and I'm going to show you what they are. If they're left unpruned, they will grow into other stems, which will produce flowers for fruit, and it can just create sort of a messy tomato for a container. So you really want to prune it down. To identify the suckers, you look at your main growing stem, which is right here. That's your main growing stem, and where a leaf comes out right here, there's a joint. So in between the joint where the leaf comes to the main stem and up is this plant right here, this piece of the tomato right there, and that is the sucker. You just break it out. This is the sucker. If left alone, this will turn into a main stem itself, and instead of just having one main stem, you'll now have two. This can just make your container tomato unruly. So you want to look through the tomato and remove the suckers out. The other thing you want to be careful is up top here is the main growing stem. This is where new leaves are coming. You can see the flower cluster starting. You don't want to prune the top third of your tomato. Just leave it alone, and as it gets bigger you prune a little bit more. So you start down at the bottom. Right down here is the main stem. Here's another leaf, and this is the sucker. You remove that. If I spin it around, you'll see right in here a main stem, a leaf, the sucker. Pull it out. Same thing right up there. Pull it out and remove it. Now down at the bottom, it's a little bit trickier. Here is a leaf, even though it's smaller. Here's the main stem. This is going to turn into a full main stem. So again, if you leave this, it's going to have leaves, and then it will have flower clusters, and again this tomato will come unruly. It's a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to cut it with a knife and remove it. Same thing over here. We have a leaf, the main stem, and this is a sucker, and I don't want that growing, so I'm going to cut it out and remove it. So when you're done, your tomato looks like this, and you've basically moved it down to one main stem. Here's the main stem. Here's another sucker right in there that I'll take out later. But here's the main stem, a leaf, a leaf, a leaf, a leaf, and nothing in these joints. That's where the suckers grow, and that's what you want to remove. And again, the reason you do that is because the suckers aren't really sucking life out of your tomato. They're making the tomato bigger. Just the plant gets bigger. You'll get more tomatoes, they'll be a little bit smaller, but you get such a massive growth of foliage that it's more likely that you get disease. It's much harder to kind of tie your tomato down and manage it when it's in a container and even in the ground. So you're just deciding if you want to have one growth stem. Sometimes you might have two growth stems, sometimes you might have three growth stems, and I'll talk more about that in other videos. But for right now, in a container, you want to keep always one growth stem. That's the main stem, and then you remove the suckers that are found in the joints. If you enjoyed this video, please check out my blog at www.therusticgarden.blogspot.com, and also check out my other YouTube videos. I have nearly 150 garden videos. Thanks.